Everyone, Sparrow Spalding here, and for those of you who are new, welcome, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. I think you'll notice my new digs in the back. I moved, so I haven't made a video for a couple of weeks, and I apologize for that. A lot of chaos, lots going on. Anyway, I'm finally a little bit settled in my new home. Here's my new backdrop, and again, welcome back. Today, we're talking about a really intriguing topic that not many people discuss about narcissism. And the topic is evil and narcissism. Are narcissists evil? Are they possessed by demons? This is a complex question, and I really want to answer it, not in a just PC way, to placate everyone, not ruffle feathers, but in a real honest way. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my own experience in this video. So first off, just to kind of recap, what is evil? A lot of religions say that there's three different types of evil. There's human evil, there's worldly evil, and then there's evil of the devil kind of thing. And so when we ask, are narcissists evil? It's kind of a loaded question. And I'm going to say, yeah, there is a degree of evilness. And, it's kind of up to you to discern where that evilness is coming from, right? If there's a lot of lying going on, deception, that's oftentimes human evil, right? If there's abuse, if there's emotional abuse, neglect, gaslighting, all of that, a lot of that can be attributed to human evil. Can it be also attributed to, evil of the devil or demonic possession? Yeah, if I was just putting on my therapist hat, I'd probably poo-poo that. But I'm also a person. I'm also a person who's experienced evil, and I'm also a very faithful Christian. And so putting all of that together, I'm going to say yes. In certain instances, I do think it's possible and probable that certain people can be possessed, and not just by demons. A lot of times we think everyone who's possessed is possessed by a demon because those are the movies we see, right? Those are the things that we hear. But a lot of times people can be possessed by, for instance, the spirit of rebellion, the spirit of jealousy, and maybe it's not a specific entity per se, but maybe it's a spirit, right? And, somebody who's just consumed with jealousy or consumed with paranoia, those kinds of things. That can be a bit of a possession, or someone who's just really rebellious. And when I think of being possessed by the spirit of rebellion, I think about sometimes people who tattoo every square inch of their body or pierce every square inch of their body, and they have to do crazy things. I see now people who get their teeth shaved down to look like fangs or, animal teeth or whatever. And, sometimes I think, okay, is this a mental illness, or is this person maybe possessed by this rebellious spirit? Now, that also can be maybe a demonic thing. I also recently saw a guy, I think he's down in Brazil, who is literally turning his whole body into that of a demon's and cut off his own nose. Not only did he cut off his own nose, he scarred his face, and he put horns in, tattooed himself blue, has fangs. Is that person possessed by a demon? It's possible. It might even be probable. I will leave that up to you to decide. But anyway, back to narcissism. Yeah, I could say in my practice of over, 25 years, have I run into true evil? I have. And I do think that true demonic evil is rare, but it exists, and I have encountered it. And it's scary, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. And so can you be with a narcissist who is possessed by a demon? I'm going to give you a personal story. This is interesting. And sometimes I go, gosh, did that really happen to me? But it really happened. So several years ago, I was dating a man from another country, and he had a son, and we had taken his son, about 8 years old, to a natural history museum. And we were going through the exhibits, and they had a specific exhibit where this machine took a picture of you, and then it aged you and it showed you what you were going to look like at 70, at 80, at 90, right? And so this little boy, he was all excited to do it, and he convinced his dad, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to know what I'm going to look like when I'm old. Forget it. No thanks. So I stayed out, and the little boy got his picture, we laughed, everything was funny. And then his dad, so the guy I was dating at the time, took his picture. And the computer said, error, cannot read your photo. And then the photo popped up. And it was a photo of a dog-looking hairy creature. It wasn't him. And I said, well, that's weird. And the machine gave you the opportunity to email the picture to yourself. I said, hey, why don't you go ahead and email that to yourself? And he did. He was very surprised, and we really didn't say anything. And I was kind of shocked. And, of course, your brain tries to make excuses. And I was like, well, maybe it's broken, or, maybe this or that. And we just walked away and then went on to do the rest of the museum. And he was really quiet. And then later on, I remember saying, hey, would you email that picture to me? That was really interesting. I'd like to research it, which he never did, surprisingly not. But anyway, so this was a person who was from a third world country, from a war-torn country, had experienced a lot of trauma, and then also told me later on in his youth he had experienced a lot of gang activity and had participated. And I didn't ask a whole lot of questions because it had been 20 years prior in his life and he wasn't proud of it, and he was, seemingly a different person. And on the surface, he was seemed like a successful guy who had his stuff together. As I got to know him, I could see he was really troubled. And it was really, really interesting. We ended up parting ways because he had a temper, and it was like early warning signs. I didn't like it. I just ended things. I'm making a long story very short. And, we just went our separate ways. But I never forgot that instance. And I had asked him, here's another interesting piece of this story. I asked him kind of towards the end of our breakup, I said, what did you see in me? Because he had a lot of not so nice things to say about me. He critiqued me a lot. And I said, what did you see in me? And he gave me a really intriguing answer. He said, well, I see auras. I can see auras. And he said, I saw you from across the street and you were absolutely glowing. And I was very drawn to you. And I said, oh, interesting. And by the way, so we met in a downtown area, and I had been across the street with a friend, and we crossed the street and we were going to a dance event, and he happened to be the photographer at the event. So he had introduced himself, showed us around, made him, was very friendly, yada, yada. Anyway, so that's what he had said. He said, I can see auras. Now, do I think he was possessed by a demon? I kind of think so. I kind of think I saw it, in black and white, even though the logical side of my brain tries to explain that away. There was a problem. However, everyone else, there were a couple of different machines. So there were a few different lines, and I paid attention. The people that were behind us had no problem with the machine. The people on either side had no problems with their machines. It was just him. And, looking at this thing, I kind of think the whatever that fancy camera was in there maybe captured something nefarious. And, I didn't stick around to really find out. That really stuck with me. And like I said, it just really unraveled quickly after that. And I saw glimpses of a temper. I was just like, no thanks. So, but do I think he could have been possessed? I kind of do, and that's just me. You can disagree with me, and that's okay. I have other examples that I will share in other videos, but yeah, do I think that people who experience trauma and hardship and go down a dark path, I think they open themselves up to negative energies, maybe negative entities, and I'm no expert in this area, trust me. But like I said, I've been around long enough. I've worked with lots and lots of people with mental health issues in so many different capacities. And yeah, I think there is a possibility there. So important maybe to discern discern between human evil, demonic evil, and sometimes they, like I said earlier, they overlap. They just overlap. And then sometimes the worldly evil maybe can be a portal into demonic evil. So for instance, a person who's obsessed with looking at pornography, or obsessed with, maybe alcohol, who is an alcoholic, who drinks. And there's a reason why they call alcohol spirits, right? Because the folklore says, and it has for thousands of years, that too much alcohol can, invite the spirits in, the negative spirits. And, we don't really want that. And so we've seen a lot of times people change their behavior when they drink too much, and they can get really nasty, they can get violent, they can get evil, they can commit heinous acts, they can kill people, murder people, all kinds of things. And so, I think worldly evil can open you up to the other kinds of evil. But if you are with a narcissist, or if you've had to spend a lot of time with one, if you have parents or family members who are narcissists, you can really sit and ascertain for yourself, does this person exhibit some evil, or, a degree of evil, or a lot of evil? Or when I look at their eyes, does it feel like there's something else kind of looking back at me at times? Pay attention to that. And, in my personal life, I really try to distance myself from evil as much as possible, because I don't want it affecting my life. I don't want it infiltrating. I don't want it negatively impacting me. I don't want things, worldly evil to tempt me. So I don't spend a lot of time around people who drink or look at pornography or, do those kinds of things. It's just, I don't spend time with those kinds of people. I pray for them, but I don't spend time with them. So I hope this answers your question. If you have any experiences with this, and I bet you do, please go ahead and drop a line below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this page. I'm actually going to do a whole series on narcissism and spirituality, because again, it is something that almost nobody talks about, especially in the mental health field. The mental health professionals don't really dive into this. They don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Remember, I'm retired. I'm coming at this from a slightly different perspective. Yes, I still consider myself a professional, but I'm not actively, practicing psychotherapy anymore. And so, I feel like I can talk about the field, talk about the profession in a slightly different way. Now, what I am still doing is trying to help people heal from their traumas. And that is why I wrote Uncaged. And by the way, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know it recently just won a Silver Nautilus Award. I'm so excited about that. People are really starting to understand my theory and my framework for healing trauma, which is called facet theory and facet integration technique. So if you are a trauma survivor, if you are a narcissistic abused survivor, this is the book for you. I will put a link down below where you can purchase or take a look at it. And as always, guys, hug yourself from me, and we'll see you next time.